Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Preeti Sharma and I'm sharing the screen today with Dr. Shibasis from BHU, and he's got an amazing rank of 54 in the recently conducted INI-CET November. So first and foremost, Dr. Shibasis, congratulations from the entire team of PrepLadder. But I think, how are you feeling? I will not ask you because we have your mom sitting. So auntie, I would want to ask you कि कैसी feeling है? How are you feeling? इतनी अच्छी रैंक आई है and what are your thoughts on it? आप क्या बोलना चाहोगे?
I am very much proud for my son.
I'm sure वो दिख रहा है. I think it is showing.
मैंने बहुत ट्राई किया है वो ये रैंक करने के लिए. उसका बहुत मेहनत था इसके अंदर. बहुत
I'm
मेहनत था. वो बार-बार ट्राई करते थे जे 50 के अंदर मेरे नंबर हो. ये इसका इच्छा था, लेकिन अभी हुआ, लेकिन थोड़ी ठीक है 54.
बहुत बड़ी बात है.
ये भी बहुत बड़ी बात है. मैं बहुत
बहुत
प्राउड फॉर माय सन.
नहीं, I'm sure, and I think
बहुत
Dr.
ट्राई भी
Shibasis,
किया है उन्होंने.
you would also agree, Dr. Shibasis, कि I think this is the day जिसके लिए हम पढ़ाई करते हैं, right? That when we see our parents feeling proud and जब वो लोगों को फोन करके हमारी रैंक बताते हैं, that is what we gives us also happiness कि we've been able to give them that moment of happiness.
I don't even know किनको कर रहे हैं, but सुबह से कॉल कर रहे हैं. And I'm really happy, like जो मैंने struggle किया है या जैसा भी मैं बुरा था या जो भी था, I wasn't in the right mental space for the last 1 year while through this phase. She has seen everything, she has been through everything. अगर मैं बुरा हूँ, अगर मैं like नीट पीजी देके like अगले दिन I got 393 रैंक, बट स्टिल मैं बहुत डिप्रेस था कि इतने इजी क्वेश्चन गलत कैसे करके आ गया, ये तो सब आते थे मुझे. So she has been there कि अरे क्या हो गया. It's all like nobody else has seen that side of me, the part of the struggle that she has seen. And उनको भी उसके साथ साथ ये सब कुछ झेलना पड़ा है, because we studying medical was more of her dream than mine. So she has like felt very bad कि उसके वजह से I have had to be through all this. So I am really happy to see her smile and be happy today, and I am really happy to be with her, be the reason for that.
I'm sure, and I think I always say this otherwise also that it is not one person who becomes a doctor. एक पूरी family होती है जो उस पूरी journey में उसके साथ ups and downs, and इतना mental stress होता है during that exam preparation जो I think हमारे parents ने देखा होता है, and वो हमारी एक side है जो other than our parents शायद कोई कभी देखेगा भी नहीं, because हम इतने tantrums throw करते हैं, हमारा mental state इतना sometimes it becomes so unstable in these. So I can I would want to say thank you to your mom कि आंटी आपने इसको support किया, because then otherwise we wouldn't have had rank 54 with us. So thank you so much. And Dr. Shibasis, getting on to your preparation also, we would want to know about your strategy. Starting with how are you using the PrepLadder videos to the grand tests? Just a brief of everything altogether.
Ma'am, the first thing is I used to passively watch. I watched only rapid revision videos and the LRR ones, and add a few like MCQs that were added or in the LRR that were not in rapid revision. Or I like the rapid revision notes because after every chapter there are a few MCQs and all, which takes you back to the parts which I might have missed or not. And especially in your, liked your lecture. You are actually you are one of the most famous faculties in our fraternity for especially patho and micro. So I at first watched the video and read them once, and for the next time to hasten up the process, I usually watch the video started the video alongside, because if I only read the notes in the second read, it would take me like 1-2 days, but with the videos it takes me like within a 1 day I can finish the entire thing. So after that I used to study the notes and annotate, like write parts or MCQs within the notes, because even though I tried to make a 20th notebook of all the GT mistakes and all, and before the exams I never had time to look at it. So it's one of my regrets, but I don't feel it made much of a difference. But still, so I would suggest if anybody is doing anything, just add the GT questions, Q&A question, whichever you feel relevant within the notes. Don't keep it aside for a different thing. And for GTs, I like last year when I was preparing, I didn't used to give GTs. I was like, content padlu bahut hai, GT dekhe kya ho. But slowly I realized, like if you give the live GTs, they are at a fixed interval. You can actually gauge like how much you are progressing or what the things that you have forgotten or been weak at. So I used to give the GT on the last day, and like by like in the morning, and because by evening then the explanations and all come out, and along with the voice notes, which also hasten up the process. In some cases the explanations are not clear. Like I remember in PSM, some questions I didn't understand, like what is being said, but usually the audio made it clear, so it became much easier. So in that case also, like surgery also, some procedure or some photos were there which he explained, Pritesh explained in the so I used to, the GTs helped me a lot. So as I saw my ranks and corrects increase in GTs, they give you a push that you are in a certain space, and if you can replicate this, you will be at a better position than you were before. So I like the GTs in that regard, and the GTs usually are very like GTs help me in that sense also, and in cerebellum the PrepLadder, especially the GTs cover a much bigger horizon, much more type of outside questions or syndromes that are not usually present in our notes or outside in other faculties and other questions. So it helps a lot in that way also. And I loved Ankit sir's pharma questions also. They usually got very less in pharma because of that, but usually they at the end of the day they add up to your knowledge only. So it's not very bad. And so by like at 150, I used to get like 150 to 160 in the GTs, and once or twice I got 170. So it was good enough to for me to watch ki, okay, if PrepLadder, if is a tough GTs I am getting this much, I will do okay in NEET, which will of course be easier than this in some way.
Right. So that, of course, the GTs, as you said, with PrepLadder are deliberately made us little tougher than the actual exam, because we wish
Yes,
to
ma'am, I
prepare you
could
for the
like
worst.
feel
We
that.
don't want to give you that pseudo confidence. Because you paid so much of emphasis on GT, I want to ask you about your GT overall approach. How many GTs were you giving in a month, and how were you analyzing them? Was it same day analysis or over the week?
Ma'am, I usually gave the GTs on the like last day or last day of the like live window, because usually I kept 1 or 2 GTs because maybe in that week I was busy and I didn't attend, and most of them I missed entirely because I couldn't come back to it at the end, because there are also like subjects we are covering, their Q bank, their PYQs. So we don't usually get the time to again dedicate another time and come back to it. We have another live GT going on. So I try to give them live. It helps a lot, and it also gives you a rank and that. So and judge that on the day itself. See the questions, if whichever subject you are lacking, or when you went did a mistake, like maybe I missed a certain part, or or stain I confused, which I did confuse in November INI also, but still maybe I confused a stain with another one. So I usually went back and wrote that this is a mistake you can make, and don't try not to make this the next time. So that becomes a little hodgepodge in the notes, but when you read next time, you know, okay, this is something I did, and I will not do it next time. So I used to add whatever the relevant points were in the same thing, same notes at that day only.
Right. So I think approaching a GT is very, very important. Not being scared of a GT in the very first place is so important. And now I want to get you to, especially this INI-CET. We've seen a trend over the past few sessions of how they're giving too many questions which are having multiple options which are correct,
Yes, ma'am.
which of course takes a lot of time while solving questions. So any advice to the future aspirants who are going to appear for the
The
exam
first thing I
on this?
used to, ma'am, the difference I felt in May between May INI and this was, in May INI there were too many multiple correct options, so it took a lot of time. So even though I ruled out 2 or 3 options, the one option I didn't know, because out of 6 lines if they give,
Right.
there will most likely be one line I didn't know, but that broke the entire chain of thought, and their option went wrong. Questions might have gone wrong because I got a much lower corrects in May INI and got 400 something rank. So now when November INI, they made it much clearer, much easier, because there were only 3 to 4 lines, and among them also most likely we knew the entire concept, and the options were not like A, B, B, C, D, B, C, D, D. So it was not that bad. So it was much more approachable in that sense. If the question is like that, the first thing I used to do was read the lines. Any line I am confident is wrong, keep your finger on that. Hide that completely from your vision. And another like question, or even in match the following, you know this is this, you ruled out the option, keep your finger over that. Hide that completely, because then you will not confuse it. And after that, if you match to it easily it saves time. It saves time in that approach. And another thing that we can try is, if you are not confident enough for that, what I used to do earlier was keep that for the end. But even at the end, you are in a time crunch. We usually have much lesser time to do that. Either if there are such questions, do it then or leave it completely. Don't keep it for the last 30 seconds. You will forget the thing that you knew right now, and you won't be able to remember that at last 30 seconds.
Correct. So all of this also, this clarity and so many things to do with the approach always comes when you've given ample number of GTs. If
Yes,
you
ma'am.
haven't been through that drill previously on the day of the exam, it becomes very difficult. So did you also appear for the champions exam that was conducted
Yes, ma'am.
towards the end? And how
Yes,
was
ma'am.
your experience about it?
Ma'am, the questions were a little difficult, I would say. Yeah, so there were many like syndromes or stuff which I had no clue about, but I could rule out options much like I could feel that the options I could rule out better than, so it creates an environment like in INI-CET also at every place also, because before this November, and I also have gotten 54 marks because the counseling was going on for NEET PG, and we didn't know that it is going to be postponed. They literally postponed it one day before. So even in morning, I was the day before that, on 5th, I was doing that only because I have to log the choices in the evening. Then suddenly they said it is being postponed, and now I had one day to study. So I was like, okay, what will I even achieve in 1 or 2 days? But still, I just studied for the day before the completely, and I was some of you like LRRs also. They were also previously uploaded. They also helped, especially biochem in Shanmuga Priya ma'am's notes and LRR. There were a lot of reagents and tests that I had not seen in the previously, like and how their colors and all. I don't know if they would come, but they also helped a lot. And then I used to see your like one shot. You had uploaded a series of videos of patho and micro. I used to do that also. It was like a nice entertaining also and learning also in the same way, like 5 to 10 minutes of every day. So I would love that if you could continue that also for the next upcoming batches. And
I
like
will, for sure.
so in the end, I tried to brush up as many subjects as I can. The notes I browsed earlier, so within one day I could actually cover a lot of ground in that. Although like some subjects were very heavy on that side, so I couldn't cover them from rapid revision in the last day. But the most of like your subjects especially were very concise, and mostly we know INI-CET asks more from patho, micro, pharma, these subjects only. So and anatomy, like anatomy also starts. I had marked parts there which were to be studied and which one were too difficult to ignore. This is I can leave that right now.
And that's
So
very
I
important to
browse that with
segregate
the
for anatomy at least. What is tough
yes,
to be
ma'am.
left and what is to be done.
Yes, ma'am. You had segregated that for us for pathomicro. You didn't have to think that, okay, we have to leave this or not. But mostly other subjects, I could understand that, okay, this might not be asked, this could be asked. So I can focus on them more. But it's good enough to be like learned. Always some people say that do not learn in the last moment. But I believe that even if you get 1 or 2 questions from something you would have been in confusion, that decides whether you would be in top 100 or not. So that is really important.
I think for an exam like INI-CET, where the seats are limited in comparison to NEET PG, it becomes all the more important to focus on very important topics, even if it is 1 day or 2 days before the exam, because that one question can make a lot of difference in your final rank, right? So, thank you, Dr. Shibasis, for sharing, so many insights, which I'm sure have been very useful for the students who are listening. And before we end, since this is your day, anyone whom you want to thank, family, friends, any names you want to take, any teachers, I mean, the stage is all yours. And also regards to your mom, whom we saw got a little emotional while she was talking about you. But I think that's a very natural thing. And thank you, Auntie, for joining back. But also reminds me of the time, I mean, abhi to you've got a rank in INI-CET, तो your parents, your mother is emotional right now. मेरी तो सिर्फ फाइनल प्रॉफ मतलब MBBS ओवर हुआ था, अभी इंटर्नशिप भी नहीं स्टार्ट हुई थी, एंड माय पेरेंट्स वर सो इमोशनल दैट एटलीस्ट दे कंसिडर्ड के MBBS हो गई, एंड आई रिमेम्बर डॉक्टर बन गया, एंड आई रिमेम्बर देम कॉलिंग रैंडम पीपल जिनके बारे में मैंने सुना भी नहीं था कभी लाइफ में कि वो एग्जिस्ट करते थे, उन्हें भी फोन करके बताया जा रहा था दैट आवर डॉटर इज
Actually, the point is like for our parents and the outsiders, they think a doctor is a person who like sits in a chair and charges 1,000 rupees for 5 minutes. They don't actually see the 12,
understand
14
what
years
goes
that go
behind it.
before that. the like
Yeah.
dire struggle that we go through, and that only our parents or our like very close colleagues or some people who are in the fraternity only can understand, like what it takes to actually be a doctor. And it's not just a degree or anything, it's like more of a life choice, because most of the our residency are very hectic. And although people say that this has been difficult, we all know that the most difficult part is the upcoming 1 or 2 years
Yes.
that after this exam. So I hopefully I can survive that happily, and
No, I'm
then
sure
we
you
can
will.
I can progress forward. And for dredging through that part of me that I didn't even know that I could face, my mom has been really strong through it. I hope I would have liked if my father could have seen this my success today, but he passed away a few years back in 2020. So
I'm
I
very
would
sorry.
like to thank him too. Who, even though he's not present today, he has given me the
I'm sure he's
freedom that I could.
watching and he is, wherever he is, he's very happy and he's very proud of you. I'm very sure about
I will just like to thank you for one big thing, because the biggest difference that made was I could stay at my home for 1 year. I didn't have to
it.
do a job. Nobody
Hmm.
forced me to do a job, that because I know if I worked a job of rank under 100 or 5 and 500 is not possible, was not possible even
Hmm.
for me, for anybody. So the
Agreed.
biggest advantage that my parents could give me was to give me, like, even if I wanted one subscription, they could buy that for me.
Hmm.
I don't expect them to buy me a 1 crore MD seat, but they could at least buy me a coaching platform, or let me you sit in house, you don't have to earn, and you
Hmm.
can study. So that gives you a lot of independence and motivation to actually go forward and give your best effort. Because then 3 4 years would have gone by and I wouldn't have even reached half of what I am right now. So I'm thankful to them, and also to my friends who have supported me through this, my the closest ones to me, and some of them who I have said call mat karna, ye mat karna, and they have kept calling me, understanding that the headspace I am in. And then
Hmm.
Sai and Neha and a lot of friends, or some friends who have gotten in last year, they
Hmm.
kept motivating me. अरे बहुत बड़ा कुछ नहीं है भाई, बस देगा हो जाएगा, कुछ कुछ इतना नहीं है. Until you actually cross that hurdle, no, it feels like
Right,
it is
right.
something very huge and impossible. When you
Hmm.
are on the other side, अरे क्या ही करना था, बस पढ़ना ही तो था. But until you know
True.
that whether what you are studying will be fruitful, that जो अनिश्चयता बोलते हैं, like that
Hmm.
the seed of doubt is the everything that breaks you. You don't know कि अरे उस दिन जैसे something that happened in NEET also. I
Hmm.
the mistakes I'd never done, I had done it on that day. Like
Hmm.
BX हो गया और चीजें questions हो गए. So
होता है
I
वो, that
couldn't
it
believe कि
happens.
I couldn't
Hmm.
believe कि मैं कैसे गलत कर सकता हूँ. I
Hmm.
knew it all. So but the at the end of the day आपको जिस I another thing I believe, what is meant to be and when it is meant to be is there for you. So
Agreed.
there is no point fighting and squabbling for everything. But क्योंकि now I believe कि I hadn't appeared for the exams last year because I wouldn't have gotten what I want that I have right now. I couldn't dream of a 54 rank last year that I can get right now, or the college I am going to study, the ranks I am going to get. It's
Hmm.
all predestined. God has planned that for me. It's just for me to live through it and achieve it. So even if anybody is feeling down like I have beforehand, I would tell them only this: believe that whatever is there is already there. You don't have to do anything. You have to don't change anything. Whatever you're doing, just believe in
Hmm.
yourself, believe in God, believe in your process, believe in your teachers, believe in the notes, whatever your choices you have made. And if you continue on the right path, give GTs, do questions, do
Hmm.
PYQs, whatever you feel you need, but don't keep adding new stuff. Try to at
Hmm.
least
Agreed.
cover what you have done once. Try to revise them again and again, at least, so that you don't lose what you have already read for
Hmm.
new stuff. And after that, you can go forward with whatever you are doing, and you will get whatever you are destined to get.
Right,
And it has
perfectly
been
put up.
really
I
nice
think I
talking
don't
to
have
you.
anything else to summarize because you have so beautifully summarized everything at the end. So you've done my job as well. So thank you so much. And thank you, Auntie, from my side, because the kind of values and upbringing that you've given to Dr. Shibashish, I can confidently say he's a product of your blessings, of your hard work, and everything that you've done to raise him so well. And we know for a fact that we have an amazing physician, doctor coming up, and he's set to achieve greater things. This is just the beginning. Abhi isko bahut kuch aur achieve karna hai. Abhi he started off, and I'm sure he's going to do that. He's on that way. So thank you so much to Dr. Shibasis and to your mom for joining us. And truly, I've had an amazing time listening to you, talking to you. I've learned so much from you also, and I'm going to quote you on so many things to students whom I teach in the future, that, I would want them to get back and listen to this, and how you've been through so many hardships and come out so well out of it. So thank you so much for so many insights, and wishing you all the very best for your future from the entire team of PrepLadder.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.